Morning students, I welcome you for the part 2 of our history lesson, what books and burials tells us. This is the second part of our lesson, so let's begin. Today we'll be discussing about words to describe people. It means which words were used to describe about the people in the past. People, now it is in general, it is not regarding a particular religion or particular group of people, it is regarding the whole community or whole group of people. Okay, so there are several ways of describing people in the terms of the work they do, the languages they speak, the places they belong to, their families, their community and cultural practices. Okay, so the people were categorized, they were grouped on the basis of different things. Like people were grouped what work they are doing. Okay, according to work, the people were categorized that these people are the people who belong to this work. For example, carpenter. So all people who are belonging to doing the carpenting will be grouped in that group. Okay, the farmers is one more example. So all the farmers will be categorized, they can be divided into that group of farmers. The languages they speak, what language the people are speaking, and the places from which they are belonging, whether they are belonging to rural areas or villages, whether they are belonging to cities, like this. Their families, what families they are from, their communities and the cultural practices. According to these factors, people were categorized, they were divided. Let us see some of the words used to describe people found in Rig Veda. Our focus is more in Rig Veda, what the Rig Veda tells us, because if you look at the title of the lesson, it is what books and burials tells. So books, what was written in the books, that is more important for us as far as this lesson is concerned. So what is written in the book, that we are focusing. So in Rig Veda, what is described, there are two groups who are described in the terms of their work, like the people who be doing the works of priests, regarding whatever the puja vidhis are done for the god, that people or the group of people were considered as a priests. Sometimes these people were called as a Brahmins. Now also they are called, who perform various rituals. They used to perform various rituals, puja vidhi and all. Along with this, the one group was also there which was called as Rajas. These Rajas were not like the ones you will be learning after. Now after a few lessons we are starting with some of the kingdoms, so that we'll be discussing, but these Rajas are different from what we will be discussing in future or the next few lessons. So did not have capital cities, palaces and armies, nor did they collect taxes. So our Rajas are different. They are not like the kings. We are not talking about here kings. Okay, the next, generally son did not automatically succeed fathers as Rajas. Rajas, the rulers or kings, what used to happen, suppose that any ruler dies, a king dies. So next, who used to become the king? His son, mostly probably elder son, used to become the next king. But the Rajas which are discussed in Rig Veda, it is not with them. The Rajas are not, we are talking about the kings. In Rig Veda, whatever the word Rajas has not came for the rulers, or they have not came for the king or queen. Okay, remember this. So two words were used to describe the people or the community as a whole. For the whole society people, as we are using the word English word people, this is the word we use for all the peoples, or in Hindi log. So in different languages we have different words. This is one example I have told in English and Hindi. So these people in that time were called as, these were given certain names like Jan. So Jan means people, which will still use in Hindi. Still it is used. Jan is used still in Hindi and some of the other languages. The other word was wish. So we have two words till now which were used for the people in the society, all the peoples. The word is Jana and the other is wish. The Vaishya came from wish. You will learn more about this in chapter 6. Several wish or janas are mentioned by name. So we find references to Puru Jan or wish. Then we have more example of Bharat Jana or wish, the Yadu Jana or wish, and so on. These are the some of the examples which were given to the people name. These are the examples of few people's name. Next, sometimes the people who compose the hymn describe themselves as Aryas and called as their opponents. So Dasas and Dasyuts were the one group of the people. They were very much different from Aryas. How? These were people who did not perform sacrifices and probably speak different languages. So they spoke different languages. So there is a difference between Aryas. So who are the Aryas? They are the Aryas who used to compose. They used to write different religious lines, verses. And the Dasas were different from the people. These were not involved in these religious activities. Perhaps they were not performing any sacrifices which were done by the other group. And these were speaking a different language. So Dasyuts or Dasas are different and Aryas are different. So this is one category of the people which was found in, or which is mentioned in Rig Veda. Later the term Dasa and the feminine Dasi. Dasa is for male and Dasi was for female, came to mean as a slaves. Afterwards these people were considered as a slave. So the slaves were women and men who were often captured in wars. People used to capture, the powerful people used to capture slaves, and these people were used for their purposes like daily works, and so they were like a slaves. They were treated as the property of their owner, and who could make them to do whatever the work they want. Okay, slaves. While the Rig Veda was being composed in the northwest of the subcontinent, there were other development elsewhere. Okay. So these were some discussion about how people were called and how they were grouped into different categories, and these categories are not equal or same like we have today. So Rig Veda, the category of the people is different. The people were given different names like Dasas, then Aryas, and they used to speak different languages. Their works were different. According to their work and language, they were given different names. So next important part that of our discussion is silent sentinels, the story of megaliths. So what is megaliths? Megaliths are these stone boulders are known as megaliths. Literally meaning of megalith is big stones. So if you look the meaning of this word megaliths, the megaliths means big stones, and these were carefully arranged by people. So megaliths or the stones were carefully kept, or they were arranged, and these were used to mark burial sites. So the people were buried People were buried there. They were buried there after the death. It means the people are burying people after the death from a long time, and this was the arrangement which was made the person who is dead to bury. The practice of erecting megaliths began about 3000 years ago and was prevalent throughout the Deccan, or mostly found. Prevalent means was mostly found in the areas like Deccan, South India, and the northwest, and Kashmir. So the burial system that was known as megaliths. Megalith is nothing but, it is very simple. Remember one thing, it is nothing but the arrangement which was made for the bury the person. Okay, after the death people are buried, so it was an arrangement to make the people bury. Some important megalith sites are shown on the map too, so you can see in the picture of the textbook. While some megaliths can be seen on the surfaces, some megaliths were on the surface, or they were on the ground, and some were underground. Okay, sometimes archaeologists find a circle of stone boulders or single large stone standing on the ground. There are some evidences of underground also and on the ground also. All of these burials have common features. These burials have some common things, like the dead were buried with distinct pots. So what they used to do after a person is dead and he is buried in the ground, under the ground, so along with the dead body they used to keep other things also. What they used to keep with the dead bodies? They used to keep pots. They believe in rebirth. They believe that the person soul is permanent and he may require the food. So they think that the dead body will also require food, so they can cook. It was their belief. Whether you will believe or not, that is a different question. But they used to keep pots, and which are called as black and red ware, and also found are tools. Along with the dead body there were pots, along with the dead body there were tools which were used by the people, like pots or some utensils, and some weapons of iron also are found to archaeology. Archaeologists have found the dead bodies of the people, and near the dead bodies they found these things. They found some weapons of iron, they found tools which were made in that time, a skeleton of horses, horse equipment, and ornaments of stone and gold. These are also found along with the dead bodies. So we have discussed about burial system, half portion of the burial system. We'll be continuing in the next video. Before that, there is one video that will be discussing about the few points which I have covered, and the few points that I will be covered in the next videos. So let's watch this video.
Silent Sentinels, the story of the megaliths. Big stone boulders known as megaliths were arranged in a circle or as a single stand-alone stone on the surface or underground to mark the burial sites, a practice that began about 3000 years ago in Deccan, South India, and Kashmir. There were a couple of actions people carried out to make megaliths. These were transporting stones, breaking boulders, finding suitable stones, shaping stones, digging pits in earth, placing stones in position, and finally burying the dead. The dead were buried along with distinctive pots called black and red ware, tools, weapons of iron, skeletons of horses, and ornaments of stone and gold. Finding out about social differences. Articles found with the skeleton of the dead by the archaeologists were not same for every dead body. Some dead bodies were buried with gold beads, stone beads, and copper bangles, while others were buried only with a few pots, which suggests there was a difference of status amongst people. Some were rich, while some were poor. Were some burial spots meant for certain families? Often megaliths were found to have more than one skeleton, indicating that the site belonged to the same family. These bodies may not have been buried at the same time, and stone boulders could have probably served as signposts for that particular burial site. A special burial at Inam Gao. Inam Gao is a place on the river Gord, a tributary of Bhima, and was occupied about 3600 and 2700 years ago. The dead were buried in the ground, laid out straight, and the head pointing towards north. Burials were within the house, with food and water placed with the dead. One person was buried in a large four-legged clay jar in the courtyard and was placed in cross-legged position. What skeletal studies tell us? It is difficult to determine the sex of a skeleton, as there are no major differences between the skeleton of a man and a woman. If jewelry is found with skeleton, it is assumed that the skeleton is that of a woman, but it is not confirmatory, as men also wear jewelry. Sex of a skeleton can be better determined from the bone structure, as the hip bone of women is larger. A renowned physician named Charaka wrote a book on medicine known as Charaka Samhita about 2000 years ago, which states that human body has 360 bones, which is larger as compared to 200 bones recognized by modern anatomy. Occupations at Inam Gao. Archaeologists have found seeds of wheat, barley, rice, pulses, millets, peas, and sesame, and also bones of cattle, buffalo, goat, sheep, dog, horse, pig, sambar, deer, black buck, antelope, hare, crocodile, fish, etc., showing that all these were used as food. Evidence of fruits such as beer, amla, jamun is also available. Elsewhere, first evidence of writings in China is found to be about 3,500 years old. These writings were on animal bones which were called oracle bones and were used to predict future. Questions were written on the bones like, would the kings win battle? Would the harvest be good? And then, these bones were put into fire and they cracked because of heat. The fortune tellers predicted the future by studying these cracks, but sometimes made mistakes. The kings lived in palaces located in cities, and they gathered large quantities of wealth, which included decorated bronze vessels.
Okay, so after this video you must have understood about how the burials were there in the past and what was the system to bury the burials. So I request you to watch the video again and again so that if you have any doubts, your doubts will be cleared. And along with this, those worksheets which are given with the videos, you complete those worksheets also and watch the video again and again until you understand the lesson. Okay, I hope this much is enough for
Silent
this part.
sentinels.